The KXAN News Podcast is sponsored by Shelf Genie.
Well, just in, we've learned that one of the 9 soldiers killed this week when 2 Black Hawk helicopters crashed into each other is from Austin.
And you don't have to like how they taste to enjoy these peeps. See what artists are now doing with one of the most controversial of Easter candies.
And temperatures are approaching record highs, where we may see an isolated storm, though, this evening in First Warning Weather.
NBC News is reporting there may be as many as 30 counts of document fraud related charges in the indictment of former President Donald Trump. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jennifer Sanders.
And I'm Daniel Marin. Trump is scheduled to be arraigned Tuesday in New York City. His attorneys are making clear he will not be taking a plea deal. The latest now from Alice Barr.
The world reacting today to an unprecedented moment in American politics. Former President Trump indicted by a Manhattan grand jury. NBC News learning from 2 sources that the still sealed indictment includes roughly 30 counts of document fraud related charges. The former president's attorneys say he's ready to fight what they're calling a political prosecution.
He's ready to be combative on something that he believes is an injustice. His knees don't buckle.
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's investigation centers on an alleged hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels during the 2016 presidential campaign and how that payment was documented. Mr. Trump denies Daniels' claims of a 2006 affair or any other wrongdoing.
This was a personal resolution for a personal matter.
And while the former president prepares to appear in court, likely on Tuesday, Republicans are lining up to attack the prosecutor and defend Mr. Trump.
They're trying to destroy Donald Trump because they fear him at the ballot box.
The message from Democrats.
This is an affirmation of the fact that no one should be above the law.
Deep divisions echoed across the country.
I just think it's stupid. It's going to not get anywhere.
I think it's been a long time coming. I'm hopeful that it actually works.
Former President Trump still faces separate investigations regarding classified documents and alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election, while the 2024 race for the White House heats up, with the Republican frontrunner under a cloud of legal controversy. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Ahead on NBC Nightly News, some new insight into the former president's indictment, and that includes a legal analyst who thinks Trump's lawyers have made some good points and the case could be defensible.
Well, a few hours ago, we learned that one of the 9 soldiers killed in the helicopter crash at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, is from Austin. She is 23-year-old Emily Marie Eve Bolanos. Now, she enlisted in 2019 in Austin. 2 medical evaluation choppers crashed into each other Wednesday night. The Black Hawks were being flown by crews using night vision goggles.
A leader within the Texas Department of Public Safety is now suspended after being charged with driving while intoxicated. Austin police arrested Nathaniel Haddix yesterday. Now, he's the chief equal employment and opportunity officer for DPS. The agency now says he's been suspended pending an investigation. Court documents say Haddix hit 2 other vehicles at 40 miles per hour and rear-ended a third.
And Austin police say they've arrested a 23-year-old man accused of 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Austin Martin is accused of pulling a gun and pointing it at 2 people in another vehicle on an I-35 frontage road back in January. One of them was a child. Then police searched his home earlier this week and found 19 firearms, which violated the terms of his bond. His new bond was set at $25,000.
We'll take a look at this. A large destructive tornado touched down in Little Rock, Arkansas this afternoon. You can hear the tornado sirens blaring there. The violent tornado plowed through neighborhoods and business districts, smashing rooftops and flipping vehicles in Little Rock and in nearby Benton. EMS in Little Rock, get this, they are estimating about 600 people are injured. We will have more details on this potentially significant tornado outbreak in the Midwest coming up in about 15 minutes. Back here at home, though, anything but. We have a tiny little threat of a little rain shower or storm. You can see some dark clouds, some vertical development here in Liberty Liberty Hill, but it's mainly just a hot end to March. 88 degrees up there northwest of Austin, 89 in town, as we are still awaiting on the day's official high temperature. It's 91 in Marble Falls, 90 in Dripping. The record high for today from 1974 is 90 degrees. So we'll see if we scrape that, may even break it this afternoon. Here's the radar showing the cold front producing some severe thunderstorms to our northeast. This is the same exact system that moved through Little Rock this afternoon. Fortunately, we just don't have the severe weather threat that they do. Here's the wind shift with no storms along it for most of us. A couple little storms are trying to clip extreme northern Milam County. Even those, though, are having a hard time doing so. Coming up, I'll show you much cooler weather by morning, the Kite Festival forecast tomorrow, and finally, fingers crossed, some real rain coming.
All right, thank you very much, David. President Joe Biden and the First Lady were in Mississippi today, visiting a town ravaged by last week's deadly tornado.
And as Anna Warnicki reports, the state is already bracing for another round of severe storms.
President Joe Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden were on the ground in Rolling Fork, Mississippi Friday, just days after a deadly tornado tore through the town.
This is tough stuff.
Officials briefed the president on steps they're taking to recover from the twister that destroyed roughly 300 homes and businesses and killed at least 21 people.
Some of this dysfunction and destruction that you're seeing here, it's going to take years to recover and rebuild, but we're starting now.
President Biden announced that the federal government will cover the full cost of the state's emergency measures over the next 30 days, including first responders overtime and debris cleanup.
There's entire neighborhoods that are absolutely destroyed.
Marcus Coleman with FEMA says their disaster survivor assistance team is on the ground, helping the recovery process.
These are people going to community, neighborhood to neighborhood, knocking on doors where they can, but also asking friends and family members where loved ones might be displaced for the time being.
Coleman says entire communities were left demolished, and their recovery could take years. There are also concerns storms forecasted for this weekend could make matters worse. Still, President Biden says the federal government will stand with the residents of Mississippi until the area is back on its feet.
I'm determined that we're going to leave nothing behind. We're going to get it done for you.
In Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki.
One of Austin's highest paid leaders is retiring effective immediately. Jackie Sargent is leaving Austin Energy. When she became general manager of Austin Energy in 2016, she became the first woman to lead the utility. Her retirement comes just months after the department got a lot of backlash for its response to power outages during an ice storm. Austin Mayor Kirk Watson criticized Austin Energy at the time. In a statement today, the mayor wrote, "I wish Jackie Sargent the best in retirement. I appreciate her service to this community and her role in the public utility industry." And then he goes on to say, "Running Austin Energy is a difficult job, and she worked to do it with integrity through some very trying times."
Just ahead, a high school senior suing her school to get the date of graduation rescheduled.
And it's a national holiday, not an official one. Of course, opening day here for the Round Rock Express. Why this one could be particularly fun here at Dell Diamond. That's coming up.
A high school in Portage, Michigan could be forced to change its graduation day as part of an ongoing civil lawsuit filed by a high school senior. Now, the suit says the student, who is Jewish, is not able to attend her graduation because it's scheduled on a religious holiday. Rabbi Mordecai Haller explains that Shavuot is a pilgrimage marking the giving of the Torah on Mount Sinai.
It is a big holiday. In some ways, it's like a 1 day or 2 day. It's a 2-day holiday, so it doesn't take up as much. But for some reason, in the more secular world, it's not as well known, that holiday. But it is an important Jewish holiday.
Now, the lawsuit says that since 2012, the family has sent district leadership letters every year reminding them to please not schedule important activities on religious holidays. It also references a 2017 homecoming dance that was scheduled during Yom Kippur. Now, a judge has issued a temporary order asking the school to find a new graduation date.
Former South Africa Olympic star Oscar Pistorius has been denied parole. He's been jailed since 2016 for killing his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp. Now, the courts decided he had not yet served the minimum detention period required to be released from prison for the 2013 killing. South Africa's Department of Corrections says there was some confusion because of the series of appeals in his case. It says he should be able to apply again in August of next year. Pistorius reached the peak of his fame back in 2012 when he became the first double amputee to compete against able-bodied athletes at the Olympics. And he was also a gun enthusiast who testified that he believes Steenkamp was an intruder when he shot her several times through her bathroom door.
Well, just getting word from the National Weather Service that a few minutes ago we actually tied the record high, 90 degrees at Camp Mabry, tying the record from 1974, just short of the record by a few degrees at 86 so far at the airport. We'll have to wait until the 6 o'clock report to see if we may actually break it in the next few minutes. Your first warning forecast with a change in the weather tonight coming up.
This KXAN News podcast is brought to you by Shelf Genie. I'm Rosie Newberry from KXAN Studio 512. Considering replacing your kitchen cabinets? Struggling to find or reach things? Go to shelfgenie.com/Austin. Shelf Genie designs custom pull-out shelves for your existing cabinets, adding convenience and value to the most used room in your home. Shelf Genie custom pull-out shelves, everything in reach.
Well, with the calendar set to flip to April, that of course means baseball season here in Central Texas.
And it's opening night for the Round Rock Express. KXAN's Noah Gross is live for us at the Dell Diamond. So Noah, it's certainly a beautiful night for baseball.
Yes, of course. And anytime it's opening day, it's a beautiful day regardless, whether it's raining, snowing, any sort of precipitation. But it's about 92 right now. We're luckily in some shade over at Dell Diamond. And yes, baseball soon to get underway. First time in years, it's Friday that Round Rock has opened at home. So expect a great crowd, as is always the case on opening day. Talking organizationally here as we get into the big words. The Texas Rangers, the big league club, won on opening night after they've spent a lot of money in the offseason, and they seem poised to compete. And they've been down for the past number of seasons, which have meant there's a lot of good prospects that have been through the system. A lot of them here with the Round Rock Express here tonight and throughout the season. And they know they'll be often called up to the big league club.
There's a lot of talent that's here, and you know, it's never a 26-man roster that gets things done at the major league level. They're going to need a lot more help than that, and those guys are here.
This year I feel the most prepared I've ever been for a season. Yeah, spring went really well, and I'm just excited to be in AAA and be one step away from the big leagues.
First pitch tonight at 7 p.m. A lot of talk this week about food, new options here at Dell Diamond. Our photographer Todd was here, and he said the teriyaki skewers were the highlight for him. Personally, I'm excited for Wednesday and Dollar Dognet, as they have every year. But David, I can hear you, and no, I'm not going to complain about the heat. It is really just a beautiful day outside at Dell Diamond.
I was going to say, it's almost the season when Noah starts talking about how hot it is outside. But this is almost a record hot day, Noah. Have fun out there, sample some food for us. The forecast for the evening, certainly unusually warm for opening day, but here it is, 87 degrees at 7 o'clock versus Albuquerque, down to the 70s by 9, and if you're still out there late, temperatures actually drop fairly quickly as humidity drops. As for any rain chance, 10%, if that. We've got a little front moving through, which will make it feel nicer, but may also bubble up a couple clouds. And you can see them here on the Austonian weather cam, just partly cloudy skies, a little vertical growth on these clouds, not producing any rain in Austin nor in the hill country. Look how hot it is out here, 87 in Kingsland, 90s in Marble Falls, out toward Lake LBJ. The metro area, 90 in Cedar Park, 89 downtown, 90 degrees right now in Buda and in Round Rock. East of I-35, 90 up in Buckholz. You guys are about to have that wind shift move through. 87 degrees right now in much of Bastrop County. The pollen count is bad. Oak is very high. Mold is very high. A couple other things all checking in low, including grass here in the midst of grass season. As I showed you at the top of the broadcast, we have a big tornado outbreak going on to our northeast. And this little front, which is trying to build storms in our area, but thankfully largely failing, it is part of this massive storm system. This orange box near Minneapolis, that's a blizzard warning. Then all of these red boxes and red filled polygons, tornado watches and tornado warnings. Every time I reload the page back in the Weather Center, we've got another couple reported tornadoes, at least 10 reported on the ground at some point today, including the one that reportedly injured about 600 people in Little Rock, Arkansas. This is the severe weather threat that we've been talking about all week. If you have family or friends in these shaded areas, a very rare, high risk, 5 out of 5 of severe weather west of Chicago down to near Memphis. This is going to be an ongoing threat that we will keep you advised on through the next several hours. As far as our local impacts, though, here's the 10% chance of a little shower or storm back building down this line as it moves through the area this evening. Overall, the only area that I think gets rain, Milam County for a few of us, and then that's it through 10, 11 p.m. After that, thank goodness this heat is over with, at least for a couple of days. Northerly wind shift and drier air overnight. This means cool temperatures tomorrow. It's actually kind of chilly in the hill country, in the 40s tomorrow morning, 50s for most of the rest of us. Still working to erase some of that humidity tomorrow morning in Fayette County, where it will be a little bit warmer. But for those joining us, including the First Warning weather team out at the ABC Kite Festival tomorrow at Zilker, it's going to be a wonderful day. This has a tradition of being a tricky weather event because of the time of year where it falls, but tomorrow looks about perfect. Partly cloudy, low humidity, and warm afternoon temperatures in the 80s. First warning on this, we've got a significant storm system, at least the possibility of one, late next week that may actually bring some rain. Monday, Tuesday, just hot and dry locally, but the cold front comes through middle of next week, and behind it, this southwesterly flow brings disturbance after disturbance. Our model projections are going a little wild with this next Thursday and Friday. Even the National Weather Service projections up to 2 inches in the hill country, 2 to 4 inches late next week in Austin, and some isolated, even higher totals than that. Of course, we've got a lot of days to go by as this storm approaches, and this will be a moving target, but we'll keep you advised, and hopefully this actually pans out this time. Tonight, 55 degrees with a light wind, clearing skies. Tomorrow looks a little warm, and it is warm for the first day of April, but the low humidity makes 84 feel pretty nice. A little breeze for your kite flying out at Zilker, 5 to 15 miles an hour. Sunday feels and looks pretty different. It's more humid, cloudier, and a 20% chance of storms. More record heat potentially early next week, 93, 95 on Tuesday, but it's not summer yet. Here comes some much cooler weather and a likelihood of rain starting on Thursday.
David, thank you very much. Quick note for all of you who are watching us on YouTube TV right now. The CW Austin is now live on YouTube TV, and that's where you can, of course, catch KXAN weather and traffic each weekday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. and also KXAN News at 9 p.m. 7 days a week.
Just ahead, you don't want to miss the best of this year's Peep Show. Tesla CEO Elon Musk is reportedly planning to visit China as soon as next month. Reuters says Musk is now seeking a meeting with the country's leader. China is Tesla's second largest market after the United States, and the company's plant in Shanghai is its largest production hub. This would be Musk's first visit to China since the pandemic.
28 years ago today, superstar Selena Quintanilla Perez was shot and killed by her fan club president, Yolanda Saldívar, at a Days Inn motel in Corpus Christi. It was 1995. The Grammy Award-winning singer was just 23 years old, known to many as the queen of Tejano music. Her contributions to music and fashion made her one of the most celebrated Mexican-American entertainers of the late 20th century. Fans visited Seaside Memorial Park in Corpus, where the singer is laid to rest. Well, this Sunday is Palm Sunday, and next Sunday is Easter.
And in between the two, a one-of-a-kind show with more than 120 unique pieces of art on display. Jennifer Franciato shows us around the Peep Show in Carroll County, Maryland.
We are at the 16th annual Peep Show.
If you've never been, the Peep Show is really something to see. From homemade creations with just one to some that took thousands, here the marshmallow treat is the star of a unique springtime tradition in Westminster.
We have a Star Wars lightsaber duel over here with a few peeps, and then we have the Good Ship Lolly Peep, made out of thousands of peeps.
In a new location this year next to Boscov's inside the town mall, you'll find 123 entries, and not all of them are sculptures. Laura King is a 5-time Peep Show artist, and this year she came up with...
We have the Oranga Peep. He is a compilation of coffee shop peeps and yellow traditional peeps, some thrifted fern. It's our winter activity. We just kind of nestle down in the house and pull everything together and get creative.
It's free to take a peep, not 1 cent to enjoy all of this. It will only cost you if you want to vote for your favorite or buy snacks and peep-inspired, well, just about anything.
Very nice. All right. Well, no reruns tonight on KXAN. At 7, it's Lopez versus Lopez, followed by Grand Crew at 7:30. And then at 8 o'clock, it's an all-new Dateline NBC before we're back with KXAN News at 10.
Thanks for listening to KXAN News Nightly. You can also listen to KXAN News Today every morning for more in-depth coverage of what matters most to you.